Can I do it just because? Okay.
Cody, have you ever been fired?
No, I haven't. I probably should have been several times, but I have not.
Yeah. I think like being fired is one of my biggest fears of just like growing up in the economy that I grew up in.
Every job I've ever worked has been like, okay, you have to do something incredibly bad to get fired from.
Have you ever like tried to do something so bad that like you got fired?
Well, I work with children, so no.
No, you don't do that. Okay.
I've never like been like, all right, I've had enough. I'm punching a kid.
I was actually fired from the job I currently have, like recently.
Go on.
Yeah. So I took a bit of a road trip. Me and Ariana, we were coming back. We took just like a weekend away.
This is Ariana Grande, by the way.
Yeah. I live a life that you all don't know about. No. So I'm coming back from the trip. I took a couple of days off for the trip. It was like a weekend thing. I took a Friday and a Monday off just so I can have time to like drive. And I had a task that I had to do on Monday. I work as a social media strategist for a company. And we were doing this contest. I had to pick a winner for this contest, but I was like, going to be on the road while I was doing it, right? So I was like, you know what? I can do all this on my phone because it's 2019, and that's the type of job that I have. I'm driving. There's no good place to pull over. And I'm like, hey, I need you to go pick a winner from this page. I hand her the phone, and she's like, yeah, you're not an admin on this page, which I don't know if you know, as a social media strategist, you're supposed to be an admin on the page. So I'm like, that's weird. You know, we're in bad cell service. Maybe Facebook is messing up. I'll go a little bit longer. But it started to eat at me. And I'm like, that's so weird. That's like my job. I was like, well, go check this other page. And she's like, yeah, you're not an admin on that page either.
Okay.
I ran like 4 pages for this company.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. We have it's a multi-page type company. You know?
Are you allowed to say what company it is?
I can't say what company it is. I'm going to be very vague about it.
It rhymes with Boogle. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I work for a Bugle. They make delicious chips. But so I'm not an admin on that page. Okay. And I'm not an admin on any of the pages. So I text my boss, and I'm like, and he knows I'm traveling. I'm like, hey, I know I'm supposed to pick this winner, but I can't. And I hear nothing. I get no text back. And we're driving for like a lot of miles.
Yeah.
So
a lot of miles.
A lot of miles. We're going. It's a long time passes.
A lot of miles. We drive bad time.
And I'm like, okay, maybe something like weird has happened. I'll check my email.
Maybe the company's pulled a full Enron.
Yeah, something like that.
My boss is in Mexico.
And I get like bring it up on my phone, and it says like, this email address doesn't exist. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I could imagine one thing happening. But 2 things happening. I've been fired.
You got sacked, as the Brits say.
So I text my boss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, just let you know I can't pull the winner. And I'm like, hey, I get this message back from him at that point in time. That's like, yeah, something weird happened. It was my fault. Give it a little bit. And I'm like, all right.
So he's backpedaling hard.
He's backpedaling, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm in the car. I can't get to anything.
He's like, hey, something weird happened. I killed a man.
Yeah, I'm on the run right now. Yeah, I'm pinning this on you. So I'm like, hey, whatever happened to my email also. I'm like, I'm going to find a new job. Like, that's the only... I'm, like, thinking of how good my LinkedIn is. I'm thinking about, like, my Indeed applicants that I need to, like, start sending out to.
It's like, okay. Somebody Google University of Phoenix.
Yeah, full on. I'm just like, who needs a social media strategist in West Virginia? Because the answer is nobody, not even the company I work for. I find a McDonald's. I get on Wi-Fi. I go, I, like, type in my computer, and I have my Paycor account. And I'm like, maybe something weird happened. I go to like verify my time, and it's like, yeah, this account isn't registered with this company. So I'm just like, what? And I end up getting these emails like, hey, like my email comes back.
Yeah.
It's like, here's your new password. And I'm like, why do I have a new password? Like, here's the admin to all these pages. Oh yeah, your Paycor thing's been fixed. So I'm still like freaking out because I have no idea what happens. I get back to work the next day. I work remotely, but I'm like getting emails for tasks to happen that day. Things that happen several months out. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I know for a fact when all those... It's not like you can accidentally do all those things. It's like he kept saying it was my fault. So unless he accidentally walked to every office in the building and said, yeah, take Nate out of the system, and then forgot about it. Or like they gave him a button that says, hey, if you press this button, it'll fire Nate. And he's like... So like 2 weeks go by, and nobody in my company has said a thing. Finally, I go to like an event with my boss.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you want to know why you were fired? And I was like, yes, please tell me, sir, why I was fired. He goes, I was going into a meeting, and I texted you to say, hey, pull that winner real fast and let me know who you get. Mm-hmm. I get a text back that says, no, screw you, do it yourself. And he's like, I'm in a meeting and get that text. And he's like, huh. I text everybody in the company.
So he probably did go around like, take Nate out.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. I don't know if I can say that. But he's like, we got to fire him. We got to get him access, taken away from all the systems. And then I get a text from you from a different, text window that says, hey, I'm trying to get into the accounts. And he's like, I look at what I did. And I had texted my friend who had the same initials as you.
So it was like he sent it to Nate C. and he just happened to send it Nate
to
Collins or something.
Yeah. He sent it to somebody with very similar name who was like a surgeon in Charleston, which if this is how lapsadaisical you are with your surgery,
you're not a surgeon, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not playing into your
Was
games.
he texting in surgery?
Yeah, apparently he's just let's screw this guy's day up. And he sent that text.
Love that you're like you're stirring a pot.
This is what surgery is to
surgery. Ooh, surgery. It's just a big plate of hamburger helper.
So my boss had to eat crow, and after he realized what happened, had to go to every person and be like, hey, you know how I fired Nate? I didn't.
He's got another button that's just unfire Nate. And he's
So that's how I was fired.
That's how you're fired. Yeah. And you were unfired in the same day.
20 minutes, honestly. It was a real highlight to the road trip.